This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, glad to see everybody today. This is Don Tripp. I'm your city manager here in Westminster. Pretty interesting time to be city manager. This is a kind of period in history that I think all of us will remember, but I'm happy to be here today with Councillors Skulley and Richard Seymour. We're going to be speaking to you about a couple of issues that are important in our community, but before they do that, I just want to tell you that your city is doing a great job. We have a number of people running all of the various functions of the city. Our continuity of service can be expected for the long term. We are in the long term with this issue here today. So, Councillor Skulley, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the impact COVID-19 has had on schools and universities, and maybe some of the shift that schools have had to make as a result of coronavirus, and as a city council member here in the city, and also a worker, a professional in the education industry, you have a very interesting perspective.
Thanks, Don. And just real quick, I want to thank the city for all the work they've done, especially our first responders who are really on the front lines, and our public works, and all of the people that are working so hard to keep our city up and running and keeping us moving in a safe direction. So it's just so important. And you're right, I have a really unique position here at the city. First as a city councilor, but I also work for Front Range Community College as their assistant director of academic services. So firsthand experience of what it's like to go from an office to working remotely in my little office at home, and trying to get used to being virtual with all of my friends and my work partners, and trying to accomplish day-to-day tasks through virtual interaction. So the governor has issued an executive order ordering the suspension of normal in-person instruction at all public and private elementary and secondary schools in the state of Colorado. He has not issued that to the public colleges yet, but we are all moving as quickly as possible to being remote, and have been fairly successful moving all of our classes to online. Many colleges and universities and schools were already taking action due to the threat of the coronavirus. Schools across the state are at different stages in their ability to offer remote instruction. We really appreciate the school administrators, teachers, and staff that have scrambled to adapt to this unprecedented situation. I have a daughter who's a senior in high school at Stanley Lake High School, and I'm absolutely amazed at how fast they were able to get her up and running and working every day on the computer. And I'm impressed with the students too. They're taking it in real stride. The teachers are doing fun things. We had a house scavenger hunt last Friday in one of her classes. And all of a sudden, the house became a whirlwind as she tried to find things through our house. So they're doing fun things, but they're also really focused on learning and helping these students stay in the moment, active, and reducing the fear that this is kind of creating with all of us. We also acknowledge the parents across the state who are having to adapt to new dynamics of having to teach their children from home and trying to ensure they continue their education, many while also balancing full-time work. And I've heard from many parents who are really, this is a struggle, this is a challenge. How do I work and take care of my kids and help them learn? And it is a challenge. And the best thing I can recommend is create a schedule, be patient. We are all in this together. And Westminster has 3 school districts, Westminster Public Schools, Jefferson County School District, and Adams 12 5-star schools. And I encourage you to learn more about what each of these school districts are doing by checking out their websites. Many of them are offering meals to students, online activities. We have schedules for courses and how they're teaching. So check out those websites. And many schools are in need of support to provide for the nutritional needs and educational supplies for students that are now at home. So if you have some extra food, I cleaned out my pantry this weekend. Check out your food pantry, pull some things off your shelf, and maybe make a donation to one of your local schools. Please visit their school website or the city's COVID-19 page under How to Help to learn how you can support your schools and the students.
Councillor Skulley, would you mind again maybe repeating that website? I think that broke up just a little bit there.
Sure. So please visit the school websites individually or the city's COVID-19 page under How to Help to learn how you can support our schools. And if you go to www.cityofwestminster.us, that's where you'll find that link to How to Help under the city's COVID-19 page.
Thank you, Catherine. Rich, you're going to talk a little bit about our kiddos and their nutritional needs. I know a lot of our kids in our community really rely on the school system for full nutrition, education, social interaction, a lot of different things in their lives throughout the day. And when we might be able to replace that educational piece at home, but we've also got to be concerned about their nutrition. So if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about what you know about that.
Well, thank you, Don, and thank you, Councillor Skulley. Also, I too want to thank our first responders and absolutely our healthcare professionals. Over the next several weeks, their time and their patience, I'm sure, are going to be taxed, and their amount of sleep is going to be minimal. So we thank them in advance, and all those people that are keeping our drinking water safe and keeping things moving throughout the city. So yeah, just a little bit of update too. As Councillor Skulley said, most of our 3 school districts are involved in grab and go programs for the kids that are on free and reduced lunches. So those times are changing and the locations. You can go, as Councillor Skulley said, to the cityofwestminster.us/COVID-19 and click on the meals information for students and family. Also, since that is a fluid situation, make sure you get a link to your school's website, also your district's website, so that you can update that as necessary. I know they're working as hard as they can to keep this program flowing. Also, the city website, COVID-19, has a lot of information on other local food assistance programs and other resources. I know for a fact, being a sponsor of Growing Home, a great local organization, their food pantries are low, as I know the stocks on many of them. Community Table, also former Arvada Food Bank. So times are tough, and Americans, when times are tough, I found that that's when they give the most. So we ask you to continue to give. If you're making cash donations, that helps them fill the supplies as needed. But if you're able, and as the store shelves get restocked, if you take one of something, think of taking one more and donating it to one of our local food banks. So greatly appreciate that effort of all of us pulling together.
Thank you, Councillor Seymour, very, very much. Councillor Skulley, before we end today, one of the things I wanted to ask you about that I know is near and dear to you is our work with the homeless population in our community. Coronavirus, the COVID-19, you know, just because of the nature of how it's being spread, our homeless folks are at great risk. What is the city doing to attempt to provide support to the homeless population in our city?
Oh, it's a great question, and thank you for asking it. You know, these are our most vulnerable populations, and we really want to do as much as we can to support them. And the city has really stepped in. The city staff have been involved in conversations with both Adams and Jefferson County homeless service providers, as well as their health departments over the last several weeks. The city and its service partners are committed to monitoring and implementing best practice recommendations of the CDC and our local health departments. Currently, the Denver shelters are open, and they are accepting healthy individuals from throughout the Denver metro area. They are screening people before allowing them entrance for the safety of their guests, staff, and the volunteers. There are bus passes that are available for healthy individuals needing transportation to shelter, and individuals who are not healthy, whether from COVID-19 or from a chronic health condition, are offered a hotel stay by our police officers. Staff then can contact the appropriate health department, who will make every effort to visit the hotel and assess the individual's needs. For those who do not want to go to a shelter or a hotel, our first responders have access to a supply of cold weather gear and hygiene items to distribute. There are portable toilets and hand sanitizers that were installed throughout our park systems last week, and our first responders are also aware of the nearest shower options that are available. And then finally, our food bank information is available to those in need. If you're interested in contributing to a local food bank, the information can be found at cityofwestminster.us/COVID-19 under the menu How to Help. And like Councillor Seymour said, pick up a couple extra cans and make a donation to your nearest food pantry if you can. There are several around. I know that we're all very concerned about those who are the most vulnerable in this situation, and how do we protect and help them?
Thank you very much, Councillor Skulley, for your comments today. Councillor Seymour, would you mind if you have any closing comments to make or anything you'd like to say, maybe closing us up, and then I'll have just a finishing statement.
Thank you, Don. Yes, we ask that you all stay safe, practice good hygiene, and maintain social distancing. I know that's kind of become the catchphrase, but it's important that we don't spread this throughout our entire community. We want to limit the exposure. If you don't feel well, stay home. Hopefully, if your work allows it to work from home. I know my staff is gone. They've been sent home a week ago. But also, don't forget to prioritize your physical and mental health. Get outside, get your family outdoors. We have great bike trails throughout our city. There's online fitness and educational programming offered by the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department through our Facebook page. And then you can also continue to visit our city's website on the COVID-19 link. It's right at the top of the page. You can't miss it for direct information right from the source. And I just want to add, stay well, Westminster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, councilors, for your comments today. I just want to share with everybody that even though some of our buildings are closed, some of the programs and services that we normally have are not meeting to maintain a social distance to try to push that curve down and to beat this virus. The city of Westminster is not closed for business. The city of Westminster is open. Make contact with us through our phone numbers that are on our website. Better yet, accesswestminster.com is a great way to get information to us. That's monitored every day, 18 or 20 hours a day, and we respond to that as quickly as we can. If you have an emergent need, dial 911, and our EMS folks will be there to support you. So thank you, councilors, for all that you do. We appreciate all the time and effort and the volunteer work that you do for our city in these very, very important governance roles. Thank you. And
Thank you.
We'll be back in a couple of days with a couple more councilors to provide other information to you. Have a great day.
Take care.